I want to see if it's possible to eat healthy for $1 a day for a full week. I've shared my plans to do this with a few people and I always get the reaction, why? So here's a very quick explanation and I'll go more in depth a little bit later on in this video. There are a few reasons. One, I'm very inspired by the resourcefulness of Mexicans and their creativity with such limited resources. Two, it's a common Stoic practice to experiment with less and to remind yourself how little you really need to be happy in life. And three, I've noticed a little bit of lifestyle creep. I seem to be spending more money every single month, and that's a kind of alarming idea because the way I see things, I'm not happier now than I was, say, 6 months ago, and yet I'm spending more money. So what's going on here? What does that say? I've seen a few videos that have a similar concept, but what I always see is people going for freebies and trying to eat for free. And for me, that completely defeats the purpose. Like, I am not accepting any freebies, and I want to see what $7 can do. So yeah, this morning I went with my $7 to see what I could find. Let's do this thing. Easy, easy. I just did the calculation for how much $7 equals in pesos. And today, as of me recording this, it's 133 pesos and 51 cents. So that's what I have to work with this week. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Venden avena?
Sí, sí hay.
¿Cuánto sale cada kilo? 30? 80 el kilo. Bueno, here's the deal. I usually shop and do like all my groceries at a local Superama. It's like a local supermarket chain that exists here. But I think that there are better prices in this other market where I see locals kind of go to shop. So that is where I'm gonna attempt to make these purchases. The spot I decided to hit up is known as Mercado Medellin. It's pretty cool. They've got pretty much everything you'd need there, and the atmosphere is really quite unique. To give myself a fighting chance of really making this happen and like being successful with this, if this is even possible, I'm allowing myself to use the $7 however I want. Now, I don't recommend you do this. This might be a very stupid idea. We're just gonna have to see. But my idea really is not to starve myself and to make this whole like torturous experience. I wanna see what I can do with limited resources.
Puede comprar menos, puede comprar 5 pesos, 6 pesos.
So the rules are I have $7 to work with for all food and drink this week, with the exception of water. Potable water actually does cost money here in Mexico, but like I said, I'm gonna make that my one exception. But beyond that, anything that costs any money is going to have to count against my $7 budget. So that includes even things like gum, coffee, juice, anything. I'm also not allowing myself to use anything that I previously owned, including salt, oil, or anything else that I might need to cook. I spent weeks thinking this over and trying to plan things out, but I ultimately realized for this to happen, I just have to go for it and figure things out as I go. I tried chatting with the locals to get better deals.
Perfecto, gracias.
Bueno, sí. 1 kilo, por favor. All right, I just snagged a whole kilo of oats for 22 pesos. Feeling good. That was a win right there. I personally find that I'm more creative when I impose limitations on myself. I was particularly targeting staple foods, stuff that I know that the government subsidizes, stuff that is very cheap. But like, look, we're not gonna have ramen, okay? Ramen is not gonna be a part of this. That is, in my opinion, not a super healthy thing to consume, especially like the instant ramen that you can buy at supermarkets. So no to that.
Gracias.
Dame, sí, una naranja, por favor. 10.50 entonces. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, that went better than I was expecting. Trying to kind of assess what I was able to get. What remains after my grocery shopping this morning is 49 pesos and 1 cent, which is about $2.50. So we're gonna have to see kind of how things go, but that's sort of like my emergency fund in case things get real. My original idea was to ration everything out so I have the same exact thing to eat each day, but I think my current plan now is just to eat conservatively and see how things go. Oh my God, what am I doing? All right, I am really hungry. I had oatmeal a few hours ago. Now it is 4 o'clock, 4:15. And so what I thought I'd do is prepare the beans and the rice that I bought. Gotta be clever here. If I buy eggs, or anything else for that matter, that requires any kind of oil, I'll take the oil that's in the can here with the beans and save it just in case, because I might need it. I'm not gonna do all the rice at once, because that would be a lot of rice, but maybe like half of it. Is that a lot? I think that's a lot still. So this juice is what I was talking about. Gotta save it. That's gonna be useful. Okay, so here's the thing. I mean, this really is not that bad at all. I just found it interesting while I was preparing this, thinking about all the different ways that I embellish, that I add things. Really not bad. Okay, day 2 update. Things are going a lot better than I was expecting. I hope that isn't misplaced optimism, but yeah. I had oatmeal again this morning and I'm not even close to running out, so I am feeling good about that. There's also an absolute surplus of rice, so those were good purchases. However, I finished the can of beans that I bought, and of all the food that I have bought so far this week, I think beans are like my favorites, so I might buy another can. We're just gonna have to see how things go. Probably tonight what I'm gonna have is just rice and tortillas. One thing that did dawn on me that I didn't even realize would be a consideration for this challenge was the fact that I can't have coffee. Now, I'm not like addicted to coffee, I don't drink it all the time, but it's really nice, especially like as a pick-me-up in the afternoon. And I spend a lot of time working in coffee shops when I'm sick of being in my apartment. That's kind of a bummer, but I mean, talk about first world problems, right? So, anyway. Oh my God. But one of the side, let's say, benefits of all of this that I also was not expecting is the fact that I'm not wasting any energy thinking about what I'm gonna eat. It's already sort of decided for me, you know? And I tend to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what it is I wanna eat and where it is I wanna go, on top of the money that you spend and all those resources, my time, energy, and money that I usually spend on those sorts of things, I'm able to save now for other projects and other things that I'm doing right now, for this week at least. I snagged 2 eggs for 2 pesos a pop and tried cooking them with my super clever oil from the can of beans technique. Oh God. So this did not quite work perfectly, but it's all right. Hey, better than nothing. This could use seasoning, but a tip I realized is that if you can't add salt or add seasoning, burn your food a little bit. It tastes better. I'm not kidding. All right, so it's Wednesday, my dudes. Yeah, day 3 basically of this experiment, and I gotta say, eating oatmeal with absolutely nothing, just oatmeal and water, it's not exactly like the most exciting, fun breakfast to have. I don't want to use the word nasty, but it's bland in the extreme. And so I was thinking, you know, is there any way I could add sugar or flavor of any kind to this? And then I was like, well, what's fruit for? I haven't even touched the fruit that I bought so far. And so I just cut some orange. The citric scent of oranges is now filling my nostrils. And this is good. This is a huge boost to morale. I'm gonna eat the oatmeal with the orange. I think I'm even gonna be so adventurous as to add a banana into the mix, because why not? Bananas are sweet. Man, look at me. One thing at a time, one meal at a time. eating rice with tortillas, which is what I did last night, is not super fun. So I'm gonna have to take a moment today and get a little bit more creative about that as well. Might need to get some beans and maybe a vegetable or two. That would be good, right? Hey, how's it going? So I'm gonna go back to Mercado Medellin to buy a couple more cans of beans and maybe a potato. The reason being, I'm gonna have to stay up until 3:30 a.m. tonight for a project that I'm working on, and I know I'm gonna get hungry, so might as well be prepared. I think this is an appropriate time to dip into my savings. We're going all out. I ultimately bought 2 cans of beans and a potato for 39.5 pesos. This challenge is more difficult than I thought. I think the thing that's hitting me right now is that, okay, I'm doing this for like a week, right? But there are people that live like this. I'll give you an example. I am now having to sort of ration out my tortillas. I've got about 16 left. Today's day 4, and so I have about 4 left for each day. And the idea of rationing things out so tightly is something kind of foreign to me. Like, I've never had to do that before. I don't think I have an unhealthy relationship with food, but it's something that I just get so much joy out of. I just love eating good food. I just love it. I'm down to 1 banana left. I was feeling really quite demoralized yesterday. I know it's silly to say that, but I cannot imagine living like this. I just wanted to kind of assess where things are at. I've still got oats, a fair amount of rice, a potato. I'm on to my last banana, my last can of beans, and 12 tortillas. I have 4 left to eat today. Plus this oil juice thing, which I don't know if this technique is really working, to be honest with you. I just miss tasty food and drinking coffee and, little pleasures like that. The last couple of days have been a lot more difficult than the beginning of this week. I'm feeling more tired than I usually do, and I have no idea if it has anything to do with the food that I'm eating, and it might totally be a nocebo effect. I'm totally willing to recognize that. Part of me is getting a little bit obsessive about rationing things out because I really want this to be successful. I want to make it through the week. And I also think I have a little bit of a fear of running out. Like, I think I'm taking this a little bit too seriously. I'm noticing just how much I rely on it for kind of like daily pleasures. There's no more fruit is gone, and I totally recognize that I have not included practically, or any, honestly, vegetables in this entire week. And of course I'm trying to eat as healthy as I can, but I feel like I can't afford it. It doesn't fit into $1 a day. I decided it was time to see what I could get with my last pesos. At a mini supermarket, I got an onion for 8 pesos and convinced them to give me an egg for my last peso and a half, even though usually they sell them for 2.
Okay, I got that.
I know what you're thinking. Why are we in the negative, Nathaniel? What is this? And believe me, I share your frustration, okay? It was only in editing that I realized that I forgot to take into account the 2 eggs that I bought on day 2. I was under the impression that I still had 9.5 pesos, and I thought I did things to perfection, but what we are seeing right now is poor math skills on full display. Anyway, I appreciate that you've stuck around for this long. Might as well see how this all ends, right? It's 7 p.m. on Sunday, which means we are almost there. I am so ready for this to be done. All the food is gone except for a potato and half an onion. And so that's what I'm preparing right now. It's just in the oven. My plan at this point, honestly, is to go to bed very early so that things can just be done. And tomorrow morning, I'm gonna eat like a king. Check out the system that I've got here. Since I don't have aluminum foil, and I feel like buying some would be cheating, I came up with a makeshift solution. So the potato is within that makeshift contraption. Y'all see that? It's right there. So a few weeks have gone by and I've gotten the chance to reflect on things. Let me just say that I already knew that food brings me a lot of joy in life. I just always like to think about where the food comes from and what took place for it to arrive in the plate in front of me. I wasn't originally planning on doing this, but thinking about being restricted on what I can eat for a longer period of time was a really depressing thought. I feel very lucky that I always had enough while I was growing up. And unfortunately, we still live in a world where there are many people, including children, that do not. I have regularly asked for your support on my Patreon, but today I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I've set up a Gofundme campaign where you can donate money to Action Against Hunger, which is a humanitarian organization that is making a huge effort to fight hunger around the world. I like that they put a focus on helping women and children. Instead of giving me money, I'm going to ask that you send your money over there if you feel that this is an important cause. So that we're not starting from zero, I've gone ahead and done the first $1,000, which is about what I made on Patreon last month. So thank you to all my patrons. And yeah, I'm gonna be posting updates on my Instagram. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you soon.